In my opinion, understanding who your target audience is and what they want, and writing to them, and only them, is the most important component of being successful as an author. John Locke.
You're listening to Writing Roots, brought to you by Aspen House Publishing.
Welcome to Writing Roots. I'm Lee Hull.
And I'm Lee Esses.
We have a big milestone to celebrate. It is our 100th episode.
Yay!
Thank you, all of you listeners, for sticking with us, staying with us. We really appreciate it. We love making these because we want to help writers. If you want to participate in how we choose episodes, just head to our Facebook page, go to Facebook, search for Writing Roots Podcast. Give us a like, give us a follow. We like to post funny quotes and memes and just inspirational things to help you keep writing. Let's get into the topic of our 100th episode. We are getting into a new month. It is July, officially. So we are going to be switching from talking about four-letter words to marketing. This was requested on a poll on our Facebook page. It beat out diagnosis writer.
But it looks like that one's winning for August.
Yes.
We are talking about marketing for people with low budgets, things you can do when you're first starting off. If you have a $10,000 budget, your marketing will look different than a lot of what we're talking about, but you can still include this in what you're doing there.
One of the first things that you need to do when you're starting to market your book is to make sure you know your target audience.
This is something that happens before you even have a book cover, before you maybe even have a title for your book, before you start talking to people, because this happens in your writing itself. It overflows into every single marketing effort you do, and we will mention throughout pretty much every episode, target audience. If you don't know this, listen to this episode on repeat until you figure out what your target audience is.
So to start, what is a target audience?
They're a specific group of people. The more specific you can get with your target audience, the better. If I ask you, hey, what's the target audience for your book? Oh, there's a little bit of everything in it. That can't be marketed. You can't have a book cover that says a little bit of everything and expect that book cover to stand out. The more specific you can get, if your book is not only for parents, but parents of autistic middle children and how to work with the other kids in the family, then you have a hyper-specific audience and they all know each other and they will share your book with other people. Marketing in every other aspect is about getting the book in the hands of your target audience. Writing your book is keeping it there, and that all has to do with marketing in some respect. But knowing your audience is important for every step of this process.
So part of knowing your target audience is knowing things like age range, interests, typical gender. So if you're writing romance, it's not likely that your main target audience is going to be straight males. If you're writing adult romance, your target audience is going to be 30 plus females. So if you know the age, the typical gender, you can also get an idea of maybe what kind of profession they have or certain life circumstances. Are they looking for escape? Are they a college-age student who's looking for the happily ever after? If you know your target audience, you know what kind of things to highlight in your branding, in your marketing.
And the more specific you are in this, not only helps you as an author, but helps you as a marketer because you can get more bang for your buck. If my books are read by females aged 60 and above, great. I'm glad they're reading it. But if I market my book to that group, they're not going to necessarily enjoy it as much as 60 plus males. War vets tend to be my favorite target audience for my style of writing.
So once you have an idea of your target audience, the kind of person that they will be, the kind of books that they're going to be looking for, your next step is to find them so you can actually put your book in their hands.
I talked to a friend of mine earlier, and we were discussing getting the right information in front of the right kind of people. And I told him that if my book was in the hands of everybody who had a single vigilante type thought, I would do really well. Accessibility is a very important part of making sure your book is read and loved by everybody. But how do I find these type of people who want to do their part to make the world a better place? Finding those people is the hard part of this equation. I can throw my books at random people until one of them throws one back, but it doesn't actually do any good.
Once you can find your target audience, they spread the word. They know others in the target audience. And if they liked your book enough, they're going to say, hey, I found this book. It's really good. I know you'll like it. Read it. And then that starts the chain.
The best way to spark that fire to get the books in the hands of the right people is to start local.
Find clubs that contain people with your target audience. Go talk to them, get to know them, and you start that process from there to introduce your book.
And if you don't know where to start with the clubs, find experts in your field. If your book is a self-help book for helping people have the courage to go to therapy when they need it, maybe talk to other therapists in town. They might be interested in promoting your book, maybe even writing a review on your website. These are all things that can really help boost because they know your target audience.
So once you know where they are, you need to make sure they're going to be interested. And this goes down to branding. When you are designing the cover, when you're writing the blurbs and the teases and getting reviews to put on or around your book, you need to know what people are looking for. This is an area where I suggest actually spending some money. Get a good cover designer. Yes, there are options to do it for free by yourself, but cover design really, truly can make or break your project. And if you aren't aware of cover design or just graphic design principles, you're more likely to have your book fail because people look at it and don't know what to expect.
We are going to talk a little bit more about branding next episode and how exactly you can start to brand your entire project, all of your marketing techniques. But you want the right readers to be reading your book. Because if someone reads my book and says there's not enough romance in it, and then they tell all their friends, well, there's not enough romance, then they're not my target audience. If people are reading and they don't want all that lovey-dovey stuff, they just want a good action-packed story to fly through, great, my books are for those people. If my cover design or my branding in any way puts my book into the wrong hands, it can do irreparable damage to the entire project.
Because if somebody finds it that isn't your target audience and they're vocal enough to review it and give it a poor rating, it is difficult to recover from that. Another thing that can help you is finding other authors. When you find another author that also shares your target audience, you can do cross-review and cross-promotion. There's no such thing as enemies in writing. People can read more than one book. There's no limit to the number of books a person can read other than just how fast they can read and how much time they have.
It's assumed for everyone who's listening right now, pretty much, that your target audience includes people who read, or at least listen to audiobooks. So one of those qualifications in your target audience is already met by sharing fandoms with another author. Obviously, you want more than one of those qualifications met, and the more specific you can get, again, the better. But if I'm reaching out to the local veterans group, maybe only a third of them read. Great, I'm that much closer to accessing my target audience. But if I reach out to another author who writes similar stuff as I do, 100% of their readers read.
So say that you've taken these steps, you know who your target audience is, you've found them, you're actually reaching out to them. You have to build trust with them. They will not just blindly accept your book. It needs to be good. That means editing. That means a quality assurance there. And then having more than one book available when you first start publishing can help. Because if they like one of your books, they may like another one of your books.
And you're going to hear this a lot this month. and I will say it every chance I get, making them a fan of you is as much a part of marketing as making them a fan of your book. Word of mouth spreads through being a fan of the book. That first spark comes from making them a fan of you. That means more face-to-face interactions with people. That means doing live reads. That means getting out of my pajamas.
It means being active in your community. And when you're starting the branding process, and again, this is something we'll talk more about in another episode, but when you're starting the branding process, you focus on you, not the book. This is another way that it helps to have more than one book available. But again, they all need to be quality. Your audience needs to trust that if they buy 3 of your books, that they're going to get their money's worth.
As you are thinking about your target audience, have a specific person in mind. And the first and last and main place you should be looking to define your target audience is yourself. You should always be, in every aspect of the process, your own target audience. If you are a mom looking for great books to bring your kids up on, market your book to moms that are looking for great books to raise their kids on. Finding your people includes finding out who you are. And that all begins with
writing selfishly.
If you have a question or comment for our hosts or a topic you'd like us to cover, send us an email at writingroots@aspenhousepublishing.com or find us on Facebook by searching for Aspen House Publishing.